Good afternoon. I'm Jonathan Stone, the Marketing and Communications Manager at Downtown Cleveland Alliance, and I'd like to thank you for joining DCA for the Downtown Now webinar series in partnership with Cleveland Magazine. After the panel discussion, we will have a Q&A session. Throughout the webinar, you are welcome to submit your questions using the Q&A button on the menu bar. This way, we will have questions queued up and ready to go to start the Q&A. Also, feel free to utilize the chat box and we will do our best to address your comments throughout the broadcast. We may ask questions in the chat box as well, so please feel free to respond. I will now turn it over to our Executive Vice President for Business Development, Michael Diemer.
Thank you, Jonathan, and thanks to all of you for joining us today. For those of you who may not be familiar with Downtown Cleveland Alliance, I wanted just to say a few words about who we are and what we do. We are the only nonprofit organization that's dedicated exclusively to making downtown Cleveland the most compelling place to live, work, and play in the region. We are by definition a place-based development organization that represents property owners, residents, businesses of all sizes, as well as civic partners in downtown Cleveland. Over the last 15 years, we've concentrated on building a clean, safe, welcoming, and pedestrian-friendly place that attracts additional investment. The kind of place where residents and office workers can walk to meet their daily needs, and significantly to today's conversation, where local retailers and restaurateurs animate the streets. In order to do this work, we need the generous support of individuals, small businesses, corporate partners, and foundations. And it's easier now more than ever to make contributions to support our work in response to an outpouring of support and requests for ways to help. DCA has launched the Unite CLE Fund. Donations to this fund help support small businesses, supports our Voices of CLE public mural program, will help expand our SEEDS workforce readiness program that provides jobs and job training for individuals who are homeless, and it supports the Downtown Homeless Fund, which helps us connect individuals who are homeless with shelter and needed services. You can make donations to this fund by visiting us at downtowncleveland.com. Well, our small business community in downtown Cleveland is essential to the vibrancy of our streets. They're essential to building our downtown residential population, attracting visitors, attracting businesses. And this year has been extraordinarily challenging to them. But through it all, our downtown business owners have shown extraordinarily resilience, the kind of grit that you would expect coming from Clevelanders. And we have a terrific panel today to talk about some of the challenges that we've all had to navigate over the summer and some of the opportunities that the downtown market presents. We're joined today by Joseph Fredrickson, who's the owner and operator of Society Lounge and the Sixth City Sailors Club. Jason Rice. I won't say it 6 times fast. Jason Rice, the general manager of Bet's Restaurant, and Victoria Sosnauskas, the owner of Citizen Pie Pizzerias. Gentlemen, welcome, and thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Well, I'd like to give each of you just a little bit of an opportunity to tell our audience a little bit about your businesses in downtown Cleveland, what your venues are like, your hours, and what folks can expect to see and experience when they come in and visit you. And I can say that Citizen Pie has quickly become a favorite lunch spot of the Downtown Cleveland Alliance staff. But why don't you tell us a little bit about Citizen Pie, one of our newest pizzerias in downtown?
Well, Citizen Pie, downtown Cleveland, a Roman-style pizza cafe was brought for the like other Neapolitan places, just for the love of pizza, and it was in my mind for the very long time. And first time 5 years ago when I had Roman pizza in Rome, it kind of stuck with me, and then I had it later at the pizza expos. I've been going to Las Vegas and Atlantic City, and this concept in the past couple of years became very popular. Like 3 years ago, everyone was talking about Neapolitan or wood-fired pizza, and a year ago about Detroit, and then in the past year, this like a wildfire spreading through the whole U.S. Roman style pizza, and I think I could be wrong, but 99% I'm not, that we're the first ones in Ohio who put it together, this style concept. And about a year ago, when we partner up with the MRN for our Ohio City location, we started talking and developing the concept and just starting the talks, and went through the pizza training to Miami with one of the best this style Roman pizza masters. We decided that this style of pizza needs only high foot traffic place, with East 4th Street at that time was the perfect idea. And we started working on it and doing construction. I went through the pizza training, and when the COVID happened during the shutdown, we were planning originally open in May. We had no choice just to move forward with everything. So already had ovens ordered and been shipped to us. We went through the training, like I mentioned. We started to put details and business plans together, and it's right now very sad and very hard because this style of pizza does require the high foot traffic. And it is very, very special. It's very special pizza from other ones. It takes it's very labor intensive to make it. Needs specific flour, shipped from Italy, from specific, almost hand selected grains. Very long fermentation, takes 4 days to make this pizza, and right now we're still working on all kinds of details about it, how to make it better and better, and we're getting there every day. And this pizza sits as a display on a table, and you can point. Normally in Rome, it's sold by weight, so you can say I want 1 kilo or that much kilo, cut me this much or that much. But we thought that was a little bit would be too confusing for this new kind of product for this market. So we decided to sell it by slice. And it's sitting in this place. You can come in, and in a minute and 30 seconds, the time it takes to reheat it, you can grab and go. And it's in Europe and Rome, that's very popular with the tourists and the locals walking, grabbing something to go with the coffee. And Citizen Pie Roman Cafe was born just from the concept of that. We just thought we're going to use best of the imported ingredients and the best of the local ingredients, not to be too Italian, to put everything together, and that was it.
Well, and one of the things I love about the Citizen Pie downtown is that you have what I consider the three major food groups. You get pizza and coffee and donuts. You tell us a little bit about some of the partnerships you formed to serve the Six Shooters coffee and donuts as well.
It came kind of naturally. We did the coffee shop, and the space was existing before, and I don't know if coffee was good of that, but it was time to change. So coffee and pizza, it's very natural kind of marriage. Roman cafe, so espresso and those type of drinks. And it was very natural because Six Shooter Coffee, it's across the street, first location from our first Citizen Pie location on the Waterloo Road in Collinwood. So that was very obvious choice. And me and Jonathan, we went to visit Peter from Six Shooter to his roastery, saw how things getting done, talked a little bit about the coffee, and we decided to go with it. And donuts, in the beginning, we were thinking to put some kind of dessert together, but this pizza is very labor intensive product, very labor intensive, like I said, because it gets fermented for 4 days, and though it gets boiled and it puts away and it spends time room temperature, then goes back in the fridge, and then it gets baked, and then gets chilled, and then gets topped and gets put in display. So and it is a very labor intensive thing. So do some kind of complicated desserts or buy, pre-made desserts was not something we wanted to do. And naturally came that Big Mouth Donuts crossed our path, and idea was born. In the beginning, we were thinking just doing the Nutella cinnamon buns kind of thing and to go with coffee. But then again, I'm glad we didn't do that because we wouldn't have time on our busy days. Maybe sometime in the future.
Makes sense. Joseph, why don't you tell us a little bit about Six City Sailors Club?
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me. I'm been in downtown Cleveland with Society Lounge for the last 8 years, and for a while I've wanted to kind of step out of the basement, and I know that this space is one that is directly outside of my window from my apartment at the Garfield over here on 6th and Euclid, so the patio itself has always been near and dear to my heart. And back in November, I originally approached K&D about this location. I heard that it was becoming available, but it did not seem that it was on the market. And then when we can kind of start to reopen, it became very evident that having a bar in a basement was not the best business format during a pandemic. So it became like kind of a 911 emergency with me and my partners to find a patio bar. I searched around a little bit in the warehouse district, and then I reached back out to the individuals that I spoke to here at K&D, and they said they're very interested. So they've been great at working with us in the terms of, how to deal with, unknowns, because that's what we are. I think that everyone on this panel can agree that we are in a big uncharted territory, and figuring that out, I think that every week for me, especially with a patio focused bar, has been, refiguring of the numbers. Where do you land with labor when you get a rainstorm on a Friday? Where do you land with labor when it starts to get a chill in the air? Or how much does heaters help? But it's been interesting. I think that it's been nice to have the vision, to have the project, to keep my team involved, and try to keep working towards that vision and being here to deliver a service, which is like with Six City versus Society Lounge. We're really trying to be that neighborhood bar that gives back what we think the neighborhood needs. Being a downtowner, that was my biggest struggle of moving downtown, is finding out where do I go to hang out with my neighbors and friends. I could go to, a lot of people go to Barrio, but I feel like I'm more surrounded by, the baseball fans and whatnot, which is fine. But at a certain point, I just want to meet new neighbors and get to know my community, which I think is so vitally important. Big reason why I'm on the board for the Downtown Cleveland Residents. I didn't mean to get on the board, but once they saw that I knew how to make spreadsheets and did things and had a bar for them to do events at, they kind of pushed me into it. But I'm glad, because it's a great group of people. But, meeting my neighbors is so vitally important, and being a part of a community, not just as, I feel that, and I'm sure that the other gentlemen on the panel can agree, that we deliver a service and exchange funds in order to give something that people really need. You need to get out of the house. You need to enjoy the company of others. Hopefully, people can see that we're putting an effort to do it safe, while getting that taste of social that we so vitally need as human beings, to be human beings, even in a pandemic. It's definitely a challenge. It's becoming more of a challenge as the winter months approach, but we're doing certain things and working out things with the landlord to make sure that we're healthy, not just for ourselves, but for our staff, trying to give them as much opportunity as we possibly can. And then having our, ultimate vision on springtime, and hopefully things start to open back up and we can be running both locations and give them options for, being heavy in business at Society Lounge in the winter, then heavy in business over here in the summer, and being able to make that exchange and always have something working towards it, and something that the Society Lounge gives you, that great date night and celebratory night, and that girls night out, guys night out, and while this can kind of be that everyday go-to spot. And I like that duality, both for the guests, but especially for me. I can't be wearing suits and vests every day, so to throw in a goofy captain's hat from time to time is a nice change of pace. So I really love it here, and I'm excited to see the challenges ahead and to navigate those waters. Actually, pun intended.
We got a salute from Jason. He's ready to climb aboard.
Yeah, Captain.
Jason, why don't we turn over to you? Bet's replaces another downtown favorite, Parker's. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Betts? And I know you had some breaking news today about some of the things that Betts is trying to do to adapt to COVID and the winter weather. So why don't you tell us about both things?
Sure. Yeah. We, when everyone shut down, St. Patrick's Day, all of Ohio shut down. We took that time to completely remodel, completely rebrand what we did, and weren't quite sure where that was going to go. So in a matter of a couple months, came up with a new concept that's completely unique to Cleveland. So our concept is it's a whole food-based menu, nothing processed, locally sourced, responsibly sourced foods. That kind of suits a bunch of different diets, so we cater to vegans, vegetarians, keto friendly, yada, yada. But you can also get that. Actually, our number one selling thing is our burger with a bacon jam on it. So not everyone's enjoying those salads and everything, but it's a terrific menu for pretty much anyone across the board. And we're still struggling with what our demographic looks like because everyone's been enjoying it, right? But again, so over the springtime, we're trying to develop what this is going to look like and completely remodel the restaurant. And the hotel had closed down at the same time. So we are connected to the Kimpton Hotel at the Schofield building. So while the entire business was down, why not? Why not take advantage of it? Rates were good. We had a construction crew ready to go, and off we went. So turned out great. We'd had a great reception so far. The hotel opened back up in June, and we started seeing more occupancy there. So that was kind of expedited our response. And it's not just the hotel guests that we needed to service. And just like Joe was saying, we got 15,000 plus residents downtown that, after the protests especially, and everyone shut down from COVID, there wasn't a lot of places to go. So we felt that urgency, and I think all these guys can agree as well. There's that urgency to get something open for the community and for our neighborhood here. So with that, it's been a great response.
And I want to talk a little bit about some of the things that each of you have done over the summer, because I know your customers are looking for clean, safe environments to dine in. And I know all of you are doing different things to provide that experience. We've got the additional challenge of entering cooler weather. And Jason, I'll start with you. If you could speak a little bit to, maybe some of the things that you've done over the summer to, create that environment that will keep your customers comfortable, and then maybe talk a little bit about the strategy that you're using for the cooler weather.
Sure. So, one of the advantages of remodeling a restaurant during all of this was that we were able to really make some plans to really modify the restaurant to COVID protocol. So where we were replacing tables, where we had barriers set up and such, we tried to maximize that space while still keeping the 6-foot distance and built our own plexi barriers, put everything in place. By the way it looks, we lost probably 12 tables total, having to follow protocol and losing that 6 feet. But with that, the city was, relaxing some rules where we were able to expand our patio to a point where I had 16 tables outside on our patio. So that extension helped us out a lot and really balanced the amount of guests we could service at any given time while still staying safe. So what we do here is as you walk in, we've spent the money on some technology that is actually a facial recognition and temporal scanner. We call her Sheila. It's this machine that you'll look into and takes a temporal scan of you, make sure your temperature is under 100.4. If it's not, bells and whistles go off and we kick you out and say, go enjoy the plague somewhere else. And then we move on, right? But then everything's in there. We've got the sanitizers and everything in place to meet COVID protocol. So rather than having to retrofit a restaurant, I think that was actually an advantage for us opening up during this time. Now, moving forward, and many of you may have seen, so we're on the corner of East 9th and Euclid. We've been building greenhouses outside on that patio. Each one fits, we've got 9 of them out there that fit perfectly inside that patio area. So we've got 6 that fit tables of 2, and we've got 3 more that'll seat up to 6 people. So again, trying to maximize those 12 tables that I lost inside, throughout the winter time, this is going to help a lot. Each one is electric, so it's got lights and space heaters, and we're looking forward to it. Today was the first day that we launched these, and as we speak, I've got about 7 of them filled out of the 9, and then we're booked for tonight. So
that's great. Well,
yeah. And we'll try to keep that running through the winter and hopefully into the spring as long as we can.
Well, hopefully that strategy works, and maybe it maybe provides a model that some others can take a look at. Joseph, it's a turn back to you and ask similar questions. You know, what sorts of things in opening Six City Sailor Club over the summer did you put in place to try to, you know, make sure you're keeping customers comfortable? And, you know, as you look ahead to the cooler weather, what sorts of things are you thinking of?
Oh, one thing, it was a little bit easier on the budget because you buy less tables, you know, just space them out and be aware of the 6 feet. That's one big thing that we, you know, always try to be aware of, and we're measuring things out and adjusting things. You know, it's always a challenge when you have large groups and have to move things around, but, you know, having a staff that's aware and informed and also like understands how vitally important it is, not just for day-to-day business, but for our own safety and for the guest safety. And, you know, we have to be aware of these things. You know, I think we have weekly conversations and meetings about, you know, how are we sanitizing? We just bought a board game, and, you know, we had a whole conversation about the sanitization of people who want to play battleships. You know, it seems fitting for the space. But, you know, the dividers, trying to make sure that people are aware. I think that, you know, the real challenge is just what good hospitality should be, which is how do you approach a guest when they're not, you know, being as I don't know, the best about their masks, right? Like, I think that's the best thing all of us can do is when we're up and about walking around, keep our face covered. And, you know, like, I think I've been to a few places where when that is happening, the server or bartender responds back harshly, but being able to deliver that message in a way that still makes people feel like, you know, just like if you welcome them into your home. I feel like so many bars and restaurants use that analogy, but, you know, you don't want to scream at someone because they forget their mask, but also set up that understanding. And I think that the guests are usually, they want to see us thrive as well. So it's well received. As far as moving into the cold season, we're looking into things. I don't know if everyone remembers, but we did a miracle Christmas pop-up at Society Lounge last year. So we are transferring that licensing over to here. So we're going to be using our bar. We're going to be enclosing the awning on our outside bar and using that space and going reservation based with the 6 feet apart, and trying to hopefully that'll give us enough cash flow to make it through what will likely be a unique January, February. I'm sure we're all kind of trying to figure out those waters of not only, you know, the typical COVID reduction of guests that'll be coming in the door, but also, you know, now we're going to have people that, you know, want to work out more and not eat bad food. I mean, well, that might be good for you over at Betts, but for me, I can't sell many Polish boys on a diet, so. But we do have great sales, so we'll be good. But I think just being aware, talking to your staff, making sure that you're approaching guests in a hospitable way, that's the best thing you can do. I think that we've got the benefit of building out for it, not having to throw a bunch of furniture into storage, you know. So just figuring out how we get people to come inside as it gets colder, how we adapt our outside area to make it more comfortable for people. Those are the conversations and challenges that we have in front of us. So. And
Vitoris, you kind of touched a little bit on the challenges that you experienced in opening Citizen Pie over the summer. You know, obviously East 4th Street is known for its outdoor seating, but what sorts of things did you need to put in place over the summer? And are there things that you're thinking about doing over the winter to try to adapt as well?
Well, first of all, I used to own a restaurant. I was a chef and owner for a restaurant for 7-8 years, and I'm so glad I don't have a restaurant right now. But I would say we just have a pizza shop. But it's, you know, that's being said, we still we don't face very these difficult challenges like some restaurant owners and restaurateurs out there, but we're still trying to provide safe environment and clean, safe service. challenges over the summer. I mean, we were in construction mode, and we were planning to open before busy season in May, hoping for the great patio season, foot traffic in the summer, and of course that didn't happen. That delayed us with all the shipping, the ovens from Italy, with the disasters we had, the oven damaged and replaced. That put us through basically with the, of course, COVID and Ohio shutdown. Towards the end of the summer, a liquor license got delayed, and we're still facing all these challenges. So it's almost like at the same time, our sales are very low, but we're still learning this pizza, learning the process and the management, how we all, this is new to us too. How and what we would do when we have very busy season. We hoping this type of style of pizza travels very well to the offices. It holds well in the refrigerator for a day or two. It gets reheated excellent in a home oven just for a minute or two. So we're hoping some Uber Eats and those type of businesses will, will help us a lot. Online ordering.
Well, I'd like to ask a question about delivery services, because that's something that we hear a lot about from small businesses. Obviously, delivery and carry out has become even more important during the pandemic than it was before. But we hear a lot from restaurants about the cost associated with delivery services, and I wonder if you could share a little bit about your experiences along those lines, and if there are things that your customers can do that would help you out. I'd put that question to any one of you.
Again, I'm so happy that I don't sell. I'm not a steakhouse or anything trying to sell steaks to go. It's just a pizza. But with the cost of rising of the food, our cheese cost and imported cheese cost like Parmesan, the flour, meat cost, pepperoni. So it's very simple math. If the labor cost it's 30%, and delivery services take 30%, and you pay 30% for your food cost, you basically ended up almost with nothing. That being said, that still somehow feels good to not to lose product, keep the staff busy, and we for our pizzas, we upcharging slightly for delivery, so we split that cost between the customer and us. So and that seems working okay. We didn't get any like very bad responses. It's still it makes me, I don't feel good when I put that food in the box and handling to the driver when driver is being late 20 minutes or plus, sometimes even more. So all these things does not give us bad reputation, but it's the life right now we live, and we challenge and we deal with it, and we're taking one day at a time, hoping that one day downtown and businesses and events will reopen.
Agreed. But I mean, it's you mentioned some of those costs that are involved in there, and also take out your cost of goods and all your rent and everything else. And that 30% on delivery charges cuts in pretty hard. And, so we encourage people, if possible, call us directly. And if you can come pick it up, it's going to not only make the experience better for you, but actually help us out in the long run. So we do offer
for sure
a lot of to-go products, all of our alcohol. The state's been kind enough to, allow us to sell alcohol with a grocery license almost. And it's just a great opportunity to stop in and see us. We've been able to secure 3 spots right outside, so you can just park and walk in and pick up your food and then run right away. So.
And don't get me started about all of you guys dealing the cost of the paper and the plastic we go through, and don't get me started about the gloves.
Joseph, you have anything to add to experience with delivery services?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't gotten too crazy on the delivery just yet. We do have a fair amount of carryout. The thing that I'm really excited about, because I've got the unique benefit of being within the 668 building, which has, I believe, 320 apartments, is we're going to start doing room service for apartments here. In the next, I think in the next week, we get the fridge magnets to try to get that, and I'm hoping that that'll give us enough food sales to protect our kitchen staff. Now, getting enough tipped sales to protect our front of house staff is a whole different challenge. But I'm hoping that this will carry us through in those, worrying about that January, February, being able to deliver not only our amazing food that we have, but also cocktails, beer. I mean, I've had those nights where I should be turning on the oven, but if I knew someone could give me hot, delicious food and a drink in under 15 minutes, I would definitely go for that option. So I'm hoping that that'll give us a little bit to get us to springtime, where I know things are gonna open back up. Actually, I got the inspiration from talking to one of Jason's employees, who was talking about how great she's been doing with upselling bottles of wine and room service over at the show field. So we'll see. It'll be interesting for sure.
You each talked a little bit about the different timelines involved in your openings over the summer. And when we talked in preparing for this, one of the things that it connects all three of you is that you opened restaurants in downtown Cleveland, or I guess in the case of Bet's, kind of rebranded. I'd like to start with you, Joseph. If you could, elaborate on kind of what went into that decision, why now, and what we're talking a lot right now about the challenges directly in front of us, but why open now, and what opportunity do you see for Six City Sailors Club on the horizon, on the other side of this?
I mean, like I said before, I feel like there's, every entrepreneur cornerstone starts with see a need, fill a need. I think that needing that bar space that's catered towards the everyday go-to spot for the downtown resident, not necessarily just, so many businesses are focused on people that come downtown, whether they go to the Playhouse or they go to the see the Indians. I think that for a long time I've wanted a place that downtown residents could call home. Why now? I think, like I said before, the need of getting out of the basement and into a patio was evident. It was a mad dash. I think from the day that we got keys in hand to the day that we put money in the register, it was 47 days had passed. So decorating, putting the murals up, training the staff, putting together the menus. We had a really good team, and I love that we were able to do things like, as soon as we had to close because of the damage on East 4th Street, we moved directly into a pop-up over in Lakewood at Western Reserve, who the distillers over there are great people. I highly recommend them if you're looking for some local spirits. But they took really good care of us and gave us a month of ability to, I wouldn't say we profited largely, but I kept money in the pockets of my staff. I kept them actionable, which for me is so vitally important. You can't do everything without on your own and expect it to go well. You need a team to be able to delegate and execute things well. So by having that, we were able to roll into this. And we've got a staff of people that really care about the guest experience, which is so important when you want a neighborhood bar focused on the neighborhood. It's not just a transaction, it's a name, it's a handshake. It's creating I talk more about social spaces than I do about products, because we're trying to deliver a social space for people to come out and, shed the worries of the day. Our LLC name is Third Space Partners, based on the idea of, you've got the first space of home, you've got the second space of work, you need a third space just to not worry about the dishwasher or if the dog's barking. I think that it was important to keep my team active. It was important to find something that made sense in this world. The patio helped with that. The kitchen size helped with that. The deliverability worked well with that. And then the attachment to such a large residential building did well with that. Do we think we're going to have 100% win? We hope so, but there's going to be challenges. I think that, you can't just put a cherry on top and say everything's going to be magical and amazing. You have to look at the challenges and make intelligent, thoughtful moves and adapt. I think that human beings, I always say human beings, our best strength is the ability to adapt. And we have to adapt to the situation in order to come out strong on the other side. So we have a lot of strengths, whether it be staff or our ability to get things done or our ability to put hospitality above everything. But there are challenges, and I don't want to be blind to that. I want to be honest about that and consider it that, as things change, as weather changes, that we're hitting everything we need to, and while focusing on the real thing, which is, giving a space for people to unwind, which is, for me,
Resource, it sounds like the wheels were in motion for Citizen Pie before the pandemic began, and you were, it sounds like, following through on a decision that was in motion. And you talked about how you're kind of using this period of time to learn the craft, perfect the pizza. What is as you look ahead, we'll all grind it out through the winter. As you look ahead to next year, what is your hope for the niche that you see Citizen Pie carving out for downtown and East 4th Street?
Well, like I mentioned before, Roman pizza, it's very light, travels well. So we thought that perfect location for high foot traffic place, it would be East 4th Street, because let's say you go to around Indians game, or you're in a rush to the Cavs game, to the Q, or you just don't want to deal with the, heavy fancy meals around, grab a coffee and maybe quick, we don't have liquor license yet, but we're hoping quick beer or everyday glass of wine with a pizza, which can get to you in a minute and a half. We thought that's the perfect spot. And sometimes I go to the games with my kids and family. Sometimes I do have time dine at the restaurant around and deal with the service delays and issue, or sometimes I want to grab real quick and go to my show, and we thought that really fit in that area.
And we'll say it works very well when you've missed lunch and you're running late to host a webinar and you need a really quick bite. Citizen Pie works really well.
We also thought that because travel well, if you have office meetings or something for lunches, the pizza it's perfect, and we don't skimp on the quality ingredients we put, and everything is very well thought and researched, and and we're hoping we're going to develop only for better. Sometimes I look 1 year ago and I was thinking what the hell I was thinking a year ago, and right now I got so much better, but that's probably of the progress and challenge to get better every day.
Jason, it sounds like Betts was in kind of a similar place where there were some things in motion already, and you took a little bit of advantage of the opportunity to do some remodeling that probably would have been necessary anyway to adapt to COVID-19. Should say there was tremendous disappointment among the DCA staff when Parker's went away, because we're right around the corner. It was a favorite happy hour spot.
Sure.
Delighted when we heard the news about Betts, and the experience has been wonderful. But could you, again, tell us a little bit about, I think you described kind of feeling your way through the summer, getting to understand what your demographic is, what your market is. As you look ahead 6 months down the line, what is your hope for Betts, and what you anticipate your business looking like?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some revenue opportunities that just aren't there right now that are part of our model. You talk about happy hour, you talk about, catering to offices. I think all these guys can agree that that's a big part of your revenue stream, having that lunch crowd coming in that we're just not seeing, with everyone working from home. So we're hoping, fiscal year into the next year, and maybe Mike, you can touch on this, what you've heard, but we're starting to see that come back a little bit, and that's a big part of our revenue generation, is that midday and that lunch meal. happy hours, everyone coming out of the offices after work. So, you know, what our goal is right now is really just to get through this and show everyone our product and build that base. And then, you know, as we get through everyone that's coming down and introduce all of everyone that's coming down to the offices, that's a whole new group of people that we get to entertain for the first time again. So we're waiting for that. We're waiting for the, you know, office lunches and the catering, and, you know, for the hotel in particular to pick up and do some events here as well. We're starting to see a nice uptick on business travel, which is encouraging. You know, and the hotel occupancy is quickly going up, and we're excited to see that. And that just tells us, you know, that you know, people are starting to get back to a little bit of normalcy.
You know, I'd say that's consistent with what we're seeing in the office market. You know, I think as we talk with a lot of businesses around downtown, November 1st and January 1st both seem to be important dates. You know, I know Sherwin-Williams, for example, has informed its employees that they're planning on bringing folks back in waves beginning in November. There are a number of other office tenants who are on that same November timeframe, and then there seems to be another significant group that's, you know, looking at a beginning of 2021, and then there's probably a third group that's in a little bit more of a wait and see. But again, for all of your sakes, we're hopeful that we'll see a critical mass in November and again in January to help with the foot traffic. Why don't we pause there? And Jonathan, I'd like to pivot to you and ask if we have some questions coming in from the audience.
Sure. And I got to say, all this talk about food is really making me hungry. So, and this first question is I think Jason, you know, kind of touched on it in his last answer. While the normal workday crowds haven't yet returned, there's still nearly 20,000 residents living downtown. Are there creative methods that you are or would consider which allow you to better engage those residents as regular customers?
We just ran a promotion locally, all within a certain radius for, I don't know if anyone received one of these, but it's a flyer to get a free brunch cocktail, right? And that was just our way of showing everyone, you know, come on down, try it out. And, you know, again, it was a pretty good investment on our part. But to engage the community and introduce that to everyone, you know, just the old school direct mailer was a hit for us. And really, that's one of our best services right now is Saturdays and Sundays, 8 to 4 is our brunches, and got a really good reception on just, you know, just a quick direct mailer. That's marketing 101 right there. But yeah, it's been tough, and just trying to get people out of the house, like Joe said, is to make them feel welcome and make them feel safe. That's our biggest challenge.
Mm-hmm. Great question.
If I could jump in, I know that our big goal at the beginning, not obviously being focused on being a neighborhood bar and getting that you know, go-to bar spot for people, you know, especially like, you know, a lot of us were saying we were downtown's backyard when we first opened, but our first launch parties, we didn't do the typical soft opening. They were focused very much on residential buildings. You know, we wanted to look at the ones right around us, teaming up with K&D, the Beacon, my building, the Garfield, and then also focusing on downtown Cleveland residents as well. I might be a little biased, part of it, but also like things that we do. I mean, all of my marketing attempts go towards social media, and we focus solely on a 1 mile radius. You know, all of our promotions are pushing football games. I'm focused on people that live within a 1 mile. Obviously, if somebody's downtown that happens to see it as well, all the better. But I want to get the people that want to have a reason to get out of the house. You know, I think that we all try to find. I was just in Pittsburgh trying to find something to do, and I think we ended up just walking the parks because there was so little options. So being able to give those options, you know, we just added our Monday trivia night because I think that could be something for the downtowners to do in a safe and social way. And you know, my primary focus is on the downtown residents more than anything else.
Well, and Joseph, I should say, you know, the feedback we get from residents, including, you know, members of our team here at Downtown Cleveland Alliance who live downtown about, you know, how that there was that need for a neighborhood gathering place and how well Six City Sailors Club fits the bill. That feedback's been really strong. So
Thank
you
you.
know, I think you're right. You identified a niche and seem to be hitting it pretty well.
Well, it was for a little selfish purposes too. I needed a bar to go to myself.
That works. That works too. Jonathan, any more questions from the audience?
Yeah. So, and this is kind of in relation to the last question. As the holidays draw near, are there any holiday strategies or specials that patrons can look forward to that will, bring more business to your restaurant?
I'll
I
tell
know I
you,
said,
part of the hotel and historically, in the hotel and with some of our meeting space, at this time of year, we would have, the books would be almost full. And unfortunately, it's a little change this year. Nobody's back at the offices, and that has been, again, we talk about those revenue opportunities, just something that we haven't seen yet this year. We're actually, something unique to us and something that, being part of the hotel, we're able to offer packages now. So instead of spending that money on a holiday party, we're looking at offering, come and buy a gift card to give your employees a night at the hotel and then dinner at Betts. So we have that luxury of working with a hotel. So instead of throwing a holiday party, it's more individualized. And you're actually, honestly, by doing that, you're probably spending a little less on a holiday party than you would by giving each of your employees a nice night out and a little escape from work.
I know for us, we're getting ready and gearing up with all of our meetings, talking about our Miracle Christmas Pop-Up. It's going to be, once again, pun intended, decking the halls and just decorating from top to bottom. We're also teaming up with a guy that sells Christmas trees. So a downtowner could come and look at the Christmas tree selection, pick that tree, get it delivered up to their apartment within 2 days. I think that's, once again, selfishly, I get a free tree out of it. So it makes it nice. But it, I think that I'm hoping that it'll be a really good escape. I think I talk about escapism a lot. I think that's why I wanted the sailor theme to begin with. I've always admired like the guys over at Porco who are good friends, and we've worked close together because you go in there and you can get just the whole world and problems dissolve around you. And trying to give a little hint of that here is a big part of what we've been trying to do. And we're hoping that, with the frosted glass and the different Christmas decorations everywhere, people can find a little bit of that Christmas joy within our space, while still adhering to the 6 feet, the dividers. We're going to be strictly on reservations only, and I'm excited for that.
Well, and I should say, we're working real closely with our partners over at Destination Cleveland to try to, come up with some strategies to help drive some foot traffic into downtown over the holidays in particular. And if we're successful in doing that, maybe we'll identify some strategies that we hit on that could work beyond the holidays as well. But yeah, we definitely recognize that it's going to be a different set of challenges as the weather gets a little bit cooler for us. But just as Jason said, upon a strategy with the greenhouses at Betts, there may be some things that we can pilot this year out of necessity that help turn us into even more of a 4-season downtown than we were before. So maybe we'll identify some things that can help us in the long run as well. Jonathan, we probably have time for one more question from the audience if we have one.
Okay. Does the alcohol to go order really benefit restaurants, bars during this time, or should there be other things put in place to help restaurants? And I think, Joseph, you touched on this a little bit earlier.
Yeah, we don't see a huge pull from it. I'm really hoping that the room service will be able to give us some room to grow in that. I think that, if you're getting a bite to eat, getting a glass or bottle of wine delivered up within is kind of a no-brainer. But as of now, our biggest push, we do the bottled cocktails. That's usually our regulars will grab 2 or 3 of those at that last call at 10 o'clock and take them home with them. We do a couple other specials at the end of the night. We've got like pitchers of beer specials. We have, a pitcher of cocktail to try to make sure that people can enjoy that 10 to 11 time. Hopefully not it's not intended to get people inebriated. I don't want to do that just for one person. It's intended to hopefully allow people to enjoy their company, because it breaks my heart to see people closing tabs at 10 o'clock. I want to see them being able to, most of us go out to not just to eat and drink. We can do that at home. Mostly it's to enjoy the company of those that we care about and have conversations. And I don't know about you, but my conversations don't typically end at 10 p.m. So being able to give them something to encourage them to stay, and then hopefully, we're allowed to have those to-goes afterwards, giving them, bottled cocktails. A lot of our drinks were intentional and trying to make it quick and easy, versus society, which is a little bit more intimate, but still with the same quality. But being able to, we haven't had that success with the bottled cocktails, especially with our regulars. I think that they've taken advantage of that a lot.
Well, I just as we opened with giving you each an opportunity to talk a little bit about the restaurant, I'd like to give each of you an opportunity in closing, just to say a few words to this potential customer base that we have on Zoom and Facebook Live, about each of your restaurants, and invite them to come in. Jason, we start with you with a closing invitation to the audience.
Sure. As we open up our greenhouses today, I encourage all of you to call ahead, make reservations. They are filling up fast. So 216-357-2680, call our front desk. We'll make your reservation, and we look forward to seeing you at Bet's.
Terrific. Terrific. Vituris?
All I can say that, as I mentioned before, the Citizen Pie Roman Cafe, Roman style pizza, it's the first concept and this style of pizza in Ohio, definitely for sure in Cleveland. It's a very labor intensive process, and I think it's a very unique product, something most people never had it before unless they're well traveled. Pizza, it's not just a regular size round pie. It's square, baked in the pan, super very high hydrated and well fermented, and it is super light, not bready, very easy on you, and it gets display and sits right in front of you. Only thing you have to do, show with your finger which slice, one or two, or to fill up the box you like. You can take it home the way it is and reheats perfectly for 3 minutes in your 550 degree oven, or you can eat it as you go, or you can sit down and enjoy a lovely beverage, maybe at go grab a drink at next door at the bar, and eat your slice and enjoy your day, and enjoy downtown of Cleveland. The other day I was leaving 5 o'clock Friday night, East 4th Street on a beautiful weather day, and my heart was broken because I saw East 4th Street absolutely empty, and I was driving home suburbs places, not very good ones, while we have the best patios downtown Cleveland on East 4th Street, semi-empty. Other places were filled with people. So I'm encourage everyone, if the weather still will cooperate, go and enjoy as much as you can.
And Joseph, we'll give you the last word.
Yeah, I kind of want to quote my friend who's a doctor who was here the other day, one of our regulars, and individual that walks my dog regularly that lives in the building. But he said, this COVID thing isn't something we should be afraid of. It's a lot like a snake. It's nothing that you need to be afraid of if you don't mess with it, if you don't disrespect it. Wear your masks, go to places like ours, that have the barriers, that have put in the time and put in the effort. We'll do everything to make sure that we can keep our place sanitized and keep our place safe for you. But our downtown community thrives because of all of us. Just like the COVID is the responsibility of not just the doctors or the politicians, but also the civilians. The health of our thriving downtown community is not just that of DCA or us as business owners, but also of the civilians. I think that, I'm honestly getting very hungry, and I can pick 2 restaurants right now off the top of my head that I'd like to go visit. And hopefully those out there who are paying attention to this, who care about the downtown community, who care not only about the businesses, but the employees that build those businesses, hopefully you can come out and put a little time in there and know that, there are us fighting the good fight of keeping you safe and making sure that you get that opportunity to step outside of the everyday life and enjoy maybe it's just a meal, but for me, it's, a peace of mind, a conversation, and a little bit of, time away. So please do that at any of our locations. I'm over here at 668 Euclid, right across from the Marble Room and Shake Shack, sorry. But I don't know. I think that if we all just get out there and try to be safe, be respectful, but also, enjoy life still, this thing will be fine.
Well, I think it's a great note to end on. Joseph, Vitoris, Jason, I really want to thank you for your time. Thank you for your commitments and your investments in downtown and all that you contribute to make our downtown a stronger, more vibrant community. But most of all, thank you for your time today. We really, really appreciate it. Thank you to all of you in the audience for joining us as well. I hope that you'll come out and patronize Citizen Pie bets in the Six City Sailors Club, as well as all of the 140 plus restaurants and shops that are open in downtown Cleveland. Jonathan, I want to thank you and the team at DCA for all the work that you put in to make this webinar possible, and would like to invite all of you, our viewers, to join us again in 2 weeks. We're off next week, but we'll be back 2 weeks from today at 3 o'clock for another episode of Downtown Now. Our guest will be David Gilbert, the president and CEO of both Destination Cleveland and the Greater Cleveland Sports Commission. Lots to talk about with him. So I hope that you will consider joining us on October 29th, Thursday at 3 o'clock for that next episode of Downtown Now. Until then, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks, everyone.